Kaido, if you can manage to find your curve, especially if you can go first and you can ramp on
Oh,
3, going
Mihawk.
up to 6 dong, and then play down specifically that 6 cost king and play down the 10 cost Kaido. After that, lots of cards that you need in a row. But if you can manage to find them, the deck goes pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely think Kaido, when he is hot, he is probably the hottest deck in the entire format right now. When he is cold, not as much, but definitely a very interesting leader nonetheless. Can't wait to take a look at this game. I definitely think, I feel like people aren't, giving Kaido enough credit right now.
He kind of goes
He
crazy.
kind of goes absolutely ridiculous boss mode.
Yeah, I mean, it's fitting for the Dragon Man himself. Just spams out those 9 and 10 cost characters. Also has a lot of ways of healing, surprisingly, despite being a purple deck.
Starting off, we do see that our Kaido player has been able to immediately go into the Queen, which definitely a very strong start for him.
Okay.
Oh, and an interesting card that we're starting to see a little bit more of, the 4-cost 2k Kamozo. When you reduce it down, able to KO a 2-cost character. Very effective versus a lot of decks in the current format, such as Sabo, even Mihawk, just being able to, because you're minusing down so much, being able to get rid of those 1-cost characters, making it a little bit harder to use stuff like the 6-cost law, can be very effective.
Yeah, no, I mean, he doesn't get the ramp, importantly, and that also means that he's not getting multiple ramps. Yes, he does get to reuse the queen effect, just resting 2 more dong, but that does mean that next turn he's only going to be at 9 instead of 10, which means that he won't be able to play down that blocker Kaido. But still, just getting rid of some of these smaller characters can be somewhat annoying for Mihawk, especially when it comes to something like that 6-cost law to be able to bounce those cards back.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he is, he opted for the Kamazo even though he did have access to the queen. So I feel like he has a strategy. He's thinking that it's more valuable to use that Kamazo effect to make sure that his opponent doesn't have access to, those small characters early. And that makes sense why he does have the king as well. So he's going to be able to ramp now. He's still going to make it on time to get a turn early because he is going second. And now it's just kind of a matter of, does he want to actually use his leader ability to try to go after the smoker, or if he prioritizes playing out a 10 cost next turn?
Yeah, I mean, he does end up developing the 9-cost or the 6-cost king, so we'll be able to develop those characters much easily. I do actually like this play, though you don't end up playing down one of the larger characters. It does mean that you will have that card set up for later. Importantly, 7,000 power character, which is very, very hard to deal with, and also has the double ramp with it. Just makes it much easier to play down things like that 10-cost mom. So maybe looking into the future to just make sure that he has that ready when it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, he is going second, so he didn't really need to ramp last turn. It would still make him go to 10 Dawn on the same turn. Um, and we are
Oh, yeah.
seeing that he did not reduce Dawn, so I don't think he's going to go after the smoker. Yeah, he's just trying to clear the board, making sure that he does have access to a 10 cost next turn.
Yep, I completely missed the fact that he was going second in this matchup. So yeah, you only need to ramp twice to get up to 10 dong. So a little bit of a benefit when you're going second, but going first, but you can actually get that high roll. It is one of the more powerful things that the deck can do.
Extremely strong for sure. But I think, when you're going up against a Mihawk player, especially with the way that the format is currently developing, we are seeing less copies of things like 7-cost Shanks, 9-cost Mihawk. So they are sort of leaning a little bit more towards going second right now, it seems. I do think that it makes sense, going second, being able to having, a little bit less need to draw well, and, just playing a bit safe makes a lot of sense in this matchup particularly.
Yeah, 100%. I think as long as you can play the game a little bit slowly, just control the opponent's board to the best of your ability, as we've seen time and time again with things like Purple Enel as well, just being able to clear out the opponent's board consistently is going to be a very great way to play into Mihawk because he doesn't have very many ways to actually handle that sort of board removal. And I mean, Purple Kaido not only has that 9 mom, not only has that 10 mom, but also has the new 10 cost Kaido that removes characters as well. So very, very good at clearing characters while developing his own.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's a very strong for sure. So where are we going next? So we're restanding with the smoker and leader effect, and we're going for a big banish into the life. Didn't get to see what was banished there, but definitely going to be a very strong attack for sure. We are taking a lot of life, so pressure is doing well so far, but next turn is really when it all comes together for Kaido.
Yeah, I mean, right now Mihawk just going to play down that Perona and stun two of the opponent's characters, but those characters, I mean, because Kaido's characters get so big so fast, they're not going to be as relevant as attackers. Just having that Kamazo on the board to wipe out the opponent's small characters is nice, even if you can't attack with it. And there it is, the 10 cost Kaido. It's a blocker, which when you return a Dong, as we're going to see right here through that leader effect, you'll be able to gain one Dong back active and restand one Dong effectively, leaving you with two Dong after you use that Kaido effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe he's going to be going after that smoker. Definitely a very annoying card to have on the field. And being able to go 7K, 9K into a 5K body, it's going to be a little bit hard to protect for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. The minus 2K is actually really annoying to deal with. If you've played against Red Blue Marco in the past, he needed the Don't attach to his leader to actually get that draw one, bottom deck one, and the minus 2K. But Kaido, by just returning one Dong, you can do this every single turn, not only on your turn, but also on the opponent's turn as well, to become deceptively tanky, while also, of course, being able to clear out the opponent's board relatively easily.
Absolutely. So we are seeing a counter out of that first attack. Is he going to use? He's going to keep the two Dawn. So that makes me think he has something like a Beam Sword, possibly, or one of the other two cost events, the one that ramps. I cannot remember the name of it. Uh, the Sobered Up, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a couple of counter events that Kaido has received in this set that are plus 4Ks to your leader, whether or not costs 1 or 2. Also has the ability to triple ramp, but does cost quite a few cards when you get to that point.
The two cost does not require it to be your leader.
Yes,
The two cost can be used on anything.
yes. So, yeah, that is actually one of the important distinctions. The one that costs 2 can be used on anything, but the one that costs 1 can only be used to buff your leader by 4,000 counter. Does seem like he did pass back that turn, so not going to play down a Searcher or anything. Mihawk's going to get back his turn, and will probably just try to keep developing.
Ooh, we do see the 9 cost Mihawk, which is going to be extremely strong going first for sure. Going to be able to stun that king, taking out one of those extremely strong offensive tools from Kaido. I mean,
Yeah.
Mihawk is definitely probably the best answer to the king because it is so hard to remove in general. And we're just going to see another big banish going straight into our leader.
Yeah, this is going to force an action out of Kaido. He does have that blocker on the field, but one very unfortunate thing about this Mihawk is that it can only stun a 9 cost or less, which means that this Kaido is still able to be used as a blocker, still able to be used as an attacker. And also, because you have to rest that Mihawk with your leader effect to actually get your get the effect off when it becomes rested, now that it's a rested 10,000 power character, that's only a rested 8,000 power character when it comes to Kaido's turn.
Absolutely. And we do have a 12K attacker just sitting there waiting to focus it down. I mean, it seems like there's going to be a strong chance for stabilization, but it's hard to tell until we see what kind of 10 costs are going to be played next turn. If we have something like the 10 cost Mom, especially with access to the Kaido as Frankie, that's an interesting card in this deck.
That is an interesting card in this deck. Not one that you see all too often. Minus 2 Dong sometimes feels pretty heavy, but I guess when you have this much rear amp with things like that 6 cost King or the 10 cost Kaido, then you feel pretty happy to play that out in the late game in tandem with potentially even some 6 cost cards like Hakai.
We're playing double Frankie, so I mean, yeah, playing for Frankie, very interesting in this kind of list. I mean, I guess it makes sense. He's just trying to, make sure that he's always able to draw those cards that he really needs to in the late game. Being a blocker, of course, is also going to be very strong. Uh, Definitely seems interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really curious to see this. We do technically have it in our possession right now, but until we get to the end of this tournament, we won't be able to publicly disclose them. Well, we will be showing the lists that do end up topping this tournament, so stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out on Twitter. Also, if you want to sign up for these tournaments, make sure to keep an eye on Twitter or in the iKailaCai or iKaila Cord Discord server / Eggman events to be notified of when those are happening, because at least for now, they are going to be a little bit sporadic, but hopefully we can start to find a rhythm for these tournaments. So the Kaido, feeling rather comfortable, won't be able to use that king as an attacker, but still can use the effect and thinking about that 10 mom, which we can see from our bird's eye view, and the opponent most certainly can as well through the webcam, is going to play it down, trashing one card minus 4 dong, and one of the opponent's characters becomes a base 0 power during this turn as he heals another one.
Yeah, definitely a very strong effect for sure. Going to be able to get a Dawn back uh, activate one as well. And then because he has king on the field, he is going to be able to get another 2 Dawn back effectively. I mean, that 10 cost mom extremely strong, and when you're able to link multiple of them together because you have the king and the Kaido on the field, it's just an extremely strong character in general. And it definitely feels like Kaido is going to be able to use this opportunity, gain life, completely stabilize, and probably clean up the board.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting to the point where he can start to stabilize this game. It is scary to go down to 1 life, but this is the nice thing about Kaido as a deck in particular, is that you have so many ways of healing that life that once you can actually stabilize the board, even if you don't swing with this Kaido, it is just going to be a massive blocker. And as long as you can clear the opponent's board with this 10 Mom, getting rid of that 9 cost Mihawk for sure at some point in this game, maybe even clearing 2 once he's with that leader effect that he's used, he can really just board wipe, keep healing, and then make it so that there is no chance for Mihawk to actually find lethal.
Absolutely, and he is able to actually get that Mihawk out with the queen, so he still has access to his big attack with the blocker. Interesting to see where that's going to go. Possibly the smoker, trying to ensure that he's able to take that out. And no, he gets that out with a 5k, so he's just going to really clear board this turn.
Yeah, there's basically everything gone there. It might have been a little bit of a mistake to rest that 9 cost Mihawk so early on before it could get an attack off, but really wanted to get that king attack off the board, is going to use his leader effect, resting that character and making sure that that won't be swinging. But in return, that means that he's getting back his turn with only 2 characters.
Yeah, and he is, of course, opting to keep that 10 cost Kaido standing, prioritizing that block. Just very strong in general, right? Being able to have big characters as Kaido, you have so much access to healing, so much access to big characters above 10k power that you are going to look for, a slow, methodical game, making sure you can overpower your mid-range opponent, especially.
Yep. Going back down to 1 life, but does still have a fair few cards in hand. Need to make sure that he doesn't show those cards to his opponent unless he gives up information. But Mihawk, I mean, still not out of this game, though his board is getting smaller because Kaido is at 1 life. If you could just keep pumping attacks into the opponent's leader, then they can be rather annoying to deal with. This 60 attack, though, can be dealt with that leader effect if he wants to use it now. Yeah, is just going to go for the block, though. One thing after you play down this 10 cost Swan, because it's -4 Dong, is that you go down quite a bit in Dong, so sometimes you don't really want to use your leader effect just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might be holding, a different event, trying to keep it for that. We might have just missed it as well. It is going to be the Law Bible coming out, going to be used on the 10 cost Mom. Leader will go up in power, so uh, you know, could have used that as his for attack afterwards, probably trying to bait a little bit of counter out of the hand in general, I would say.
Yeah, trying to see what he can get done, but is just going to take the free block. Is Benson, as the turn is going to come back to him, and really this Kaido deck, anything can happen. There's so many cards that can pop out and suddenly do some devastating things. Even though the leader, Mihawk, is going to be at 7,000 power on this turn, when all of your characters are so high in power, you don't really care all that much.
Absolutely. I mean, 7k power doesn't really matter when you're hitting for 12. We do have some 5k power characters as well out right now, but I think he's going to end up prioritizing taking out that Mihawk with those attacks anyways, and we do see another 10 cost.
Yeah, no, and that's actually going to be the negate Kaido, which is going to negate one of the opponent's characters and KO a 6 cost, which means that he has to make a decision now. Does he want to get rid of the Mihawk, which is the larger body, or does he want to get rid of the Perona, who has a rather annoying on-KO effect?
Yeah, I mean, it's seemingly like he would go after the Perona and then use his leader ability plus, things like, the 5k attacks that he has with his leader and Kamazo, even the 7k and King to just take out the Mihawk with normal attacks. Definitely extremely strong turn overall. Feels like he's really gotten all the cards he's wanted every turn.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Oh, he is going after the Mihawk.
Yeah, honestly, I probably would have went for the Perona there just because he has the active cards to be able to play out another character off of Perona, making it very difficult to actually get rid of. But decides to get rid of the Mihawk instead, going to be swinging for 5k, maybe using the leader effect, reducing that Perona down anyways. So might be looking to just clear out these characters anyways, but he does have the opportunity now to use that effect. Looks like he's not going to use it.
Did he just soul read him into not having anything there?
He just knew.
He just soul read him. He just knew.
He just knew, and that means that he's just going to focus all of his attacks onto leader, 7,000 the opponent's leader, despite the fact that he is 7,000 power currently, I believe, or maybe he didn't even get the.
No, he did get that
He did,
boost
right?
because they were arrested. Yeah,
Okay,
we do see the counter on his Mihawk leader. He's
right. Okay.
keeping Dawn up, or
Yeah, but taking the 7,000 power attack is very scary because he probably doesn't have very much time left in this game. Does have that Law Beppo on the board, which Kaido will not be able to get rid of for the rest of this turn. But, I mean, with the blocker head on the board, 1 life still, and also now technically all of the counterless cards in his hand becoming 1 case, it makes it harder and harder for Shibata to actually go for lethal.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, still has a couple of life cards, so if he can manage to potentially change some of these.
Someone said nullified Perona and killed Mihawk. You cannot nullify and kill Mihawk. The effects are linked. It is the same character, so you would have to nullify and KO the same thing.
Yes. So hopefully that's not the.
Hopefully that was not mixed up.
Yeah,
Hard to tell for sure.
yeah, that could be a thing, but hey, everyone's playing OP17 for basically the first or second time in their life right now, so some people may end up messing up some effects. We can't really blame them for that. Hard to tell without actually hearing their audio right now, but to not muddy up the actual broadcast, we have them muted as we talk over their plays. Hopefully there wasn't any sort of confusion on that effect because that Kaido can only KO the character that he negates.
Absolutely. So is going to be resting on the Kaido with that Law Beppo effect, but how much life? It's hard to tell with white sleeves. I think it's 2. It might be 3 life on the Mihawk.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at as well. It looks like 2, might be 3 life on Mihawk right now. Black sleeves and white sleeves both have this sort of problem sometime. But as long as the players know how much life is left, that's all that matters. As Mihawk is going to be able to chain that Beppo, and importantly, this time stun the 10 cost, I keep trying to say teach, Kaido, who is a blocker, which means that if he can manage to survive for at least 1 more turn, he might be able to find lethal on the turn after that, as he is not going to be able to use that blocker on this turn nor the next turn.
Yeah, so is going to be a 7k into leader, just going to use a 2k plus the effect of the 10 cost KO Kaido to make his queen into a 1k counter, and then it seems like we just have an all-out coming to rest the king, to just try and reduce the amount of attacks that are going to come in this turn, trying to ensure that he is going to be able to survive 1 more turn.
Yeah, and if he has another heal card, this can be disastrous.
I
But
mean, 10 cost mom seems extremely good right now.
if he has it, I think that might just be lights out. But if he doesn't, and this deck doesn't really have all too many ways to filter through your deck, then I think Mihawk still can do something about this.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it definitely comes down to, does he have it? If he doesn't, I think he just has to go for lethal this turn.
He may have to. I mean, it's a 7,000 power leader, but you do have a lot of very big attackers on the board. But the nice thing is that even if you don't have that 10 mom, you still could potentially take out that Beppo just because your leader effect giving the opponent's character minus 2,000 power. So it would make it 9,000 power on that Beppo. So if he has something like the 9 mom restanding Dong off of that 10 cost Kaido effect, and then just attaching a ton of Dong swinging into that 9,000 power Beppo, he still may be able to get that heal and get rid of one of the characters, which may be able to get him there.
Yes, and you could also use the 10 cost KO Kaido to reduce.
Ooh.
You can do some interesting things like reduce 1 Dawn by just reducing 1 Dawn, no extra effect, then use your leader ability as well to try and get an extra Dawn. Seems like it was a little bit of a misplay here, just because if you attack this way, you're not going to be able to get extra Dawn out with your Kaido. It seems you would have to end up attaching that Dawn to one of your bigger characters.
He could also play over the Kamazo to get that dome back into
Also
his
true.
dome area. But commits to this play. Once you attach this many dome, you are committing to going for lethal. Going to swing 10, going to swing 12, now down to 0 life.
Oh, Mamaragan, that explains a lot.
Mamaragan to return the 2 dong. And now with that Kaido effect, we'll be able to, at the very least, re-ramp 1. So going to get some of that dome back to be as efficient as possible, and going to try to break through with the last of these attacks on this final turn.
Yeah, so he's going to get the Kaido effect as well as the King effect. So he's going to be able to get a 2 extra Dawn from that. And then I assume just, go straight into leader with that Mun. Does he have enough counter?
I'd be surprised if he did. That's going to be 18,000 at leader. There's going to be the 3K.
So he's at 11?
I think 10, I believe.
Of 10?
Yes.
And
I think he just doesn't have enough.
yeah, it's 10. Yep, that's not going to be enough.
That's not going to be enough, which means that Subaru is unfortunately going to be losing to Kaido, one of the sleeper picks of OP17, who was honestly very confident in that game, found the cards they needed, didn't find the 6 Cuss King on curve, played it 1 turn later, but that still actually
He
didn't
found
end
it
up
on curve.
mattering. Did he?
146.
Oh,
You
right.
keep thinking he went first.
Yeah, no. He did find on curve.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah. I keep thinking that he just played the
Yeah, you're thinking
effect.
You keep thinking
Yeah.
like he went going
No.
first instead of going second. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So did have the timing to play the card on curve, because he's also able to play the Kamazo on 4, and with the double ramp from King, was able to get to Tendel on time and just chain those 10 costs. When you can manage to get that combo off, it doesn't matter if the opponent has the 6 cost Mihawk, doesn't matter if they have the 9 cost Mihawk or the Law and Beppos, you just win.